I mean, there's certainly plenty of stock here.
This is the 1872 dress uniform and dress helmet authorized by the Congress for all military personnel on horse. The helmet was unique. In fact, it followed the English helmets from the Queen's Royal Guard, and it was not used at any battle. It was only used for dress and ceremonies and special events. Today here on Palo Duro Canyon, this is a special event, 130th anniversary of Palo Duro Canyon's battle. And this is the first time that we've had opportunity to wear a dress uniform and a dress helmet for this event. Welcome to the 130th anniversary of the Battle of Palo Duro Canyon, a commemoration. Not a reenactment, a living history presentation. If you don't know what living history is, go look it up on the internet. We don't have that. It is performing, showing, and telling without action, without battles, without Civil War activity. This is an 1874 commemoration, and we represent the Frontier Regiment of the High Plains. Off to my right, we have Trooper Frank Wellman. Then we have a Kiowa, authentic Kiowa James Coverdale on his paint. Next to me is our Mark Craddock trooper. I'm Corporal Northcutt. And then Billy Turpin representing the Comanche Nation as well as all of his ancestors. So thank you for coming. I am standing before you in a dress helmet of the 1872 dress only for high parades and dignitaries and special events. This is a special event. It won't be worn here again until the 140th anniversary. Hopefully I'll be here. First, I'd like to kind of let Billy go forward and talk with you about the battle from his perspective, and each one of the gentlemen will have an opportunity to come forward, and we will not let you stand long. I know it's kind of hard on you, but we want you to understand this was a pivotal point in the Panhandle Heritage moment in 1874, September 28th. Billy, forward, sir.
As you said, my given name is Billy Turpin. My Indian name is pronounced Tohoktilam He, literally translated as Gray Eagle. I am Muskogee and Comanche. Any of you ever heard of the Creek Nation? Well, the Creek Nation is actually named the Muskogee Nation. It is not Creeks. That was a name given by the British. Anyway, I'm representing the Comanche Kiowa warrior of the time of 1874. I'm dressed as a Comanche Kiowa warrior, war leader of that time. Everything we have, including the saddle, is an 1880 cavalry saddle. Old one, still riding, and we try to represent these people the best way we can. I want to talk to you a little bit, tell you a little bit about the Battle of Palo Duro Canyon. It was the last battle fought in what was called the Red River Wars. The other three were fought north of here. The Indians in this canyon, about 8 miles from here, was Comanche, Kiowa, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, 3 camps. Approximately 3,000 to 4,000 Indians were in here during that raid. Colonel McKenzie found them. They had never been discovered in this canyon in all these years. Yeah, I understand. Stand still. Okay? Just stand. And they had never been discovered. His scouts, the Tonkawa scouts, discovered them. He brought his troops down. Battle started, what, about 6 in the morning, Jimmy? Wasn't it? About 6?
Sunrise.
Sunrise. So like this morning, about 6. The thing was, the Indians, like I said, had never been discovered down here, so they didn't have no sentries out. They had one sentry, one young man, about halfway up the trail. They heard a shot. They didn't pay attention to it because they figured he'd seen a deer or something and shot at it. But what he was shooting at was the cavalry coming down. They don't know what happened to him. We don't know for sure if he killed or he got away or what. But anyway, as soon as the cavalry got on the floor, mounted and started, the shooting started, the screaming started, that's when the little battle started. Well, little battle lasted all day long. But the big thing was, the Comanches and the Kiowa had always been told by the Cheyenne that when the white soldiers come, they will kill the women and children and the old people. So the census was of the battle that time, when they seen the white soldiers and the horses coming, the big thing was to get the women and children and the old people out of here first. Then we'll come back and fight. And it took them nearly to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I said, it started about 6 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon to get all the old people, the women and children out of here. Then they started coming back. Yeah, I know she's over there. Come on. He wants to go back over here bad. But at that time, like I said, the consensus was the white soldiers would kill the women and children because the Cheyenne had been attacked at least 4 times, and each time women and children and old people were killed when the warriors were gone. One on the Washita, when Custer attacked the Washita camp of Black Kettle and killed Black Kettle and his wife. Black Kettle was flying a white flag and an American flag wearing a peace medal from the president, and they killed him anyway, and his wife. And about 250 women and children and old people, because there was no dog soldiers there. They had been gone. So that was the consensus. When the white soldiers come, they will kill the women and children. So they said, let's get them out. Then we'll come back and fight. Well, by that time, the young warriors were doing holding action, a lot of shooting and hollering. Several horses were killed. 1 trooper was shot. 3 Indians were killed. One was called Gul He. He was a Kiowa, also known as Red Bonnet. I wear a red sash in honor of Red Bonnet, and I'll show it to you later. And that pretty much was a battle. These Indians that were here had already been on reservations. They'd already been to Fort Sill and Fort Reno, trying to live the life that they signed the peace treaty with. But they were getting rotten flour, rotten beef, worms in their beef, stuff like this, and they said, no, we're not living this way. We're going to go back to the plains where the buffalo and live the way we're supposed to be living. So General Miles and all of them were after these Indians to bring them back to the reservations. They were considered hostile. We were hostile because we didn't like to eat rotten beef and rotten flour. So we were hostile. So to bring the hostiles back, they were bringing in on 3 fronts trying to get these people. Well, that little battle, last one of the Red River Wars here, when Colonel McKenzie seen them gathering on the ridge, that ridge up there, coming back about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that was the time to get them out. He had to get his troopers out because they were coming back to fight then, and they were going to wipe him out. But the big thing was, they didn't realize Colonel McKenzie had already gathered like 1,400 horses, 1,400 head of horses that were in this canyon, maybe more, and was driving them out. They could not muster their horses and their people fast enough. Colonel McKenzie got away with 1,400 head of horses, drove them down here about 40 miles to Tule Canyon. He took 300 head of horses for remounts, killed 1,100 head of horses, 10 at a time. For his horse lovers, that's a lot. Anyway, this little battle, 1 trooper shot, 3 Indians killed, 1,400 head of horses killed a way of life on the plains. That was the end of the way of life of the Comanche and the Kiowa and the Cheyenne in the Texas Panhandle. In the spring of 75, that was in 74, spring of 75, the ones that went ahead and wintered here, went further south and wintered with what supplies they had left. They went then back in the spring of 75 to Fort Reno and Fort Sill, surrendered to Bad Hand. And that's the battle from our side, because we had already been on the reservation. We had signed a treaty. The 1874, come on, turn around. He ain't gonna move. Anyway, signed a treaty at Medicine Lodge for this area, and it was supposed to be in there. And of course, the big thing also that started it was the buffalo hunters that were here. Buffalo hunters were killing the buffalo by the thousands, not just the hundreds, by the thousands. I think it was down around Fort Worth in the spring of 75, they had shipped out over 5 million buffalo hides from there. So you see what was happening to our food and our country, our way of life had died. Okay? All right, thank you. It's my where the lance is sitting. I'll explain it to you piece by piece, but we'll do that later, okay?
Thank you, Billy. Very good presentation. I'm coming forward with our 2 dismounted troopers. For the first time, we have seen and found a painting made by some artist named Cartar in 1972. It's the only one that's on loan from Mr. Don Murray in Hereford. I've got to take it back to him tomorrow. His son got the print, and that print was the print's made from the original that was hung in a Hereford bank. Both Mike Hanna and Trooper Chris Larson are going to walk around and show you there. The most important thing about it, it's not a perfect rendition, but it shows the only injured man, a trooper bugler. His name was Hard. He was wounded in the gut, and he lived to go back to the surgeon's office there at Tool Camp. They operated on him, and the surgeon reported to McKenzie, oh, he's going to be all right. He didn't have no food in his gut. For 32 hours, they had no food in it. Therefore, his gut was rendered safe to be a trooper again, and he retired in 1888 as a cavalryman. But this is the only rendition we know of that's the Battle of Palo Duro Canyon. If you have folks that know where there is one, please get in touch with the park or with me or Billy, and we would be glad to show and tell with our school programs. But it's a very simple, teepee should be white. These are a different color, but it's a neat neat reprint because of Trooper Hard being down on the ground bleeding from his stomach. So Mike, when you get through, you and Chris can return it, and it'll be on display over here at the military camp.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Very proud today to be in this location. 130 years ago, the Battle of Palo Duro Canyon took place. With me today, my good friend, Mr. Larry Ritter from Hereford, Texas, my brother, Parker descendant, Chuck Waldrip, and his little daughter, here, Miss Jessica. We're very pleased to be here. Jessie is dressed as Cynthia Ann was when she was kidnapped and taken by the Comanches in 1836, who later became Quanah Parker's mother, the wife of Chief Peyton Nocona, the proud Comanche warrior. And once again, we are very proud to be here to represent the Comanche, Kiowa, Southern Cheyenne Nation, and Arapaho. Very proud to see all you folks out here today. Thank you for having us.
We're going to walk around. Thank you, Gary. Now stand back. Okay? You can stand where you are. Thank you all for coming. We're going to do a ride through and come back around in the line. Thank you all. Come along. Billy, you want to lead out or you want to follow me? We'll get a little closer. Oh, okay. The Sabre Salute, which is the most dignified salute that the horse cavalry ever gave a president, fallen general, or any other body that was highly special. This is a special occasion. We will do that. We're kind of out of line, and that's okay. The Native Americans will do what they want, and we will do ours as a bugler begins to blow his deal. Draw! You ready? Sabre! Ready when you're off. She wants to be the center of attention, and she is. Forward, present, sabers. Return! Sabers! Okay, we are going to kind of back off and stand by our military camps, and James has a lot of things to tell you about. Billy's got his display.
That for the Comanche people that the Comanche people did not approve, but he got a big house built. The government built him a big 5-star house, give him a ranch, give him cattle, and all this stuff, when the other people were still starving. He was not the legal chief of the Comanche people. And I'm not telling you out of disrespect, I'm telling you out of fact of what happened. Even still today, this is 2004, I just came back from Comanche Fair. Several hundred, well, a couple of thousand Comanches there, okay, at Comanche Fair. There was one Parker descendant there. There is still a big dividing line between the Parker descendants and the Comanche people. Now the Comanche, the Quanah Parker people, the descendants would have a big powwow and all that good stuff, and you'll see their people, but you won't see the Comanche people. And the Comanches have Comanche Fair, Comanche Homecoming, tail dances and powwows at the complex and other places there around Cache and Lawton. You won't find any Parker people there. There's still a big dividing line, but anyway, I'm just telling you the true facts. This is what happened. All the books about Quanah, again, were written by the white people, white writers, making him famous. He did this, he did that, which he did. He actually did those things, but it was for Quanah, not for the Comanche people, okay? And that's the hard part about that. And anyway, like my Comanche father said, his grandfather, they were like brothers. He was with the Coahuiltes, and when that happened, he tried to talk to Quanah and say, look, you can't do this, and they split. And never more spoke again. The old men, they all died, and they have never talked to one another since then. But anyway, that's the way the cookie crumbled at the time. But I am also Muskogee. I guess, like I said, some of you heard of the Creek Nation, what was called one of the civilized tribes of the Oklahoma, the Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, and the Creeks. Well, the Creeks, their proper name is Muskogee. That is our name. The word creek was given to us by the British in the early 1600s because every place they found a creek, they found Indians. So they call them Creek Indians. You live by the creek. And that stuck with us for some reason. But in the last 25, 30 years, we have been bringing our name back. And even now our seals and our papers, our letterheads from our nation says the Muskogee Nation. There is no Creek Nation, okay? And it's just one of those things. What I hold in my hand is my ceremonial fan. It's five feathered, black and whites from a golden eagle, tail feathers. They're gifted to me by my Comanche father to make a ceremonial fan, and so I can do whatever I do. I'm considered kind of like a spiritual leader of our people here in this part of the country. I do weddings, I do funerals, I do home blessings. I do, if anybody wants to be blessed up like this in a personal way, I can do these the Comanche way. And there's another gentleman over here who does the same thing. But I was taught and blessed by 2 holy men and a medicine man from the Comanche tribe. Okay, and I try my best to uphold it that way. Okay, and my other fan here. Somebody looking at that one. This is my dance fan. This one I gourd dance, warriors dance. This is my eagle wing. Tip of the wing will spread out just like it flies. And as long as I take care of this fan properly, the spirit of that eagle will continue to live. And if I pass it on properly to my sons and grandsons, he should live for many, many years. But it's very light, and when I dance, I have to grip it pretty tight because when I get a little carried away and move it, it'll fly away from me. It still catches the wind and moves, okay? But anyway, what I wanted to show you, back when we first started in this country, when we first came, we used things like this. This is a jawbone of a buffalo. Could be many things. Could be a weapon. You can work the ground with it. We had rocks that were nipped like this. You could do many things with the bones, but this is what we had first, okay, before the white man came. We do things like this. We put a rock on a stick. It's simply a rock on a stick, but a very formidable weapon once you put it together, right? Like a war club. And things like this. This is an obsidian, clear obsidian, glass, knife, antler, and these are things like that we used before the white man came. Then, of course, in all the progress, all the stuff, the white man came, brought us things like this to work with. This is about 250 years old. It's a buffalo skinning knife, Sioux. Brought us good things to work with. About the 1860s, we were doing things like this. You know, good trade things. You know, we were improving, very much so. Then he brought us things like this. This is a muzzle loader type rifle, black powder. Oh, but in the old days, when the white man first came, he brought this thing. Chief Tonganoxie of the Delaware, the first time he seen a far stick, he said, "That's going to be the death of our people," and it almost was. Even though we learned how to use it very effectively. The eastern tribes, the Seneca, the Iroquois, fought both sides of the battles, used these things. Had to have a lot of trade to get the powder and flint and stuff for these things. Okay. Then, by the 1860s, 1865, he brought us things like this.